I was there.
Where?
Yeah.
And the rest?
He gave the sign. It was good.
You gave a talk.
No, he gave the sign.
What?
He gave the sign.
Yeah, but you're still not. Huh? What did I say last time?
Yeah.
No? Huh? What? Yeah, I had my reasons. I knew they were lingering down there, you know. Huh? Next time I go and come from the back. Huh? I mean, is it so difficult to wait, you know, to sit here, you know, and wait for 5 minutes until I come? Huh? We waited sometimes 15 minutes for Tanachan, sometimes 20 minutes. Huh? Now, it's impossible. 5 minutes. Let's spend the time, you know, talking here and talking there and doing this and doing that. Huh? My Upataxis. Huh? What is this? Huh? So who was the big talker who wants to give a talk? It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know either.
I'm not in the mood. Yeah, you can wait a little bit. Maybe in half an hour I get into the mood. Don't you take dinner? I mean, look at the lay people, they're all there when I come. And the monks? Huh? They think there's something better. Yeah? Yeah, when we ordain as monks, you know, after a while, you know, we forget why we ordain. Huh? Because we became monks, you know, because there was so much dukkha in our life. And then we become monks and suddenly there's no more dukkha, so we don't have any motivation, yeah, to practice, yeah. We look, you know, we look here and there, oh, this needs to be done, that needs to be done, yeah, but we don't look in our heart, you know, what needs to be done. The work of a monk, you know, is Dönchakram, yeah, it is walking meditation and sitting meditation. That is the real work of a monk, or a practitioner who stays here in the monastery. Everything else is not important. Sometimes we have some work to do, but most of the time, you know, we just have the work of a monk, yeah. But we find everything, yeah, oh yeah, I can do this, you know, and then we kill our time with talking, looking at this, looking at that, yeah, going around, killing our time, yeah, as if we have so much time on our hands, yeah. Everybody who's a little bit old knows we have very little time left, and we should use, you know, all the time that we have. Yeah, all the time that we have, you know, for the practice, yeah, preparing ourselves for our next life. Huh? There is a next life if you believe it or not, yeah. Nothing, you know, nothing changes into. Everything changes into something else. Huh? We see it in nature, it doesn't disappear. We just don't disappear from this world even when the body dies. Yeah? We just go into the next life. Yeah? And depending on our karma, our next life will be, in this sphere or in that sphere or in that sphere. Yeah? Maybe it's going down, maybe it's going up, or maybe it's coming back, in the same field, yeah? As a human being. We don't know. But we can prepare ourselves so that at the time of death that we can make a decision. Where to go, yeah? I mean, if you run blindly through burn, yeah, you don't know where you go, yeah. You probably follow just the main street, that leads to destruction. Or just like Jesus said, the masses of people going the broad path that leads to destruction. Yeah? In other words, to hell. Only a few going the stony path that leads to the heaven. And the Lord Buddha, put up something more, he said there's actually, not only heaven, there's actually Nibbana, the end of the cycle of birth and death. And that's what we hopefully aspire for, yeah? Especially when we are hardcore practitioners or monks. Yeah? That is our only goal, yeah? To find a way out, of the hamster wheel. Yeah? Not always running, yeah? Not being able to put to put our work aside or to put our wishes aside and our greed and hate, yeah? And to work for opening the door to the deathless. Yeah? That's what it's called, deathless. Yeah? There's no more death. Would be nice, yeah? Because if we are born as a human being, we have to die. Yeah? And the only cause of death is birth. There's no other cause. If we are not born, we don't die. Yeah? Don't believe all the scientists and doctors who tell you otherwise. Oh, it's this cause or that cause or that cause. No, the only cause for our death is birth. If we are not born, we will not die. Isn't that simple? Yeah? 100% true. Yeah? So we have to find it. Yeah? But if we die, we are born again. Yeah? Maybe not as a human being, maybe as an animal, maybe as a ghost, maybe as a hungry ghost, maybe in the hell realm, or maybe as a deva, yeah? Depending on our karma. Wherever we go, that's it depends on our karma that we have created. If we have created a lot of good karma, we might go up to the heaven. If we have created a lot of bad karma, then we go to hell. I mean, the Lord Buddha said it very clearly, when the Venerable Ananda asked the Lord Buddha, how many people are going to hell? How many people are going to heaven? And then he said, do you see that bull over there? How many horns does he have? And these are the two people, two. Yeah? These are the two people who go to heaven or to go to Nibbana. And how many hairs does he have on his fur? These are the people who go to hell. I mean, it's not only masses in a few, it is 2 and millions, yeah. So I mean, it is pretty precise in our description. But we, when we come here to the monastery and listen to the Dhamma, we belong to a group that is called normally the group of Neya. Yeah? The ones who, sometimes swing to this side and sometimes swing to that side. We are the ones who have a choice. 70% of the human race doesn't even have a choice. They just go down. 30%, have a choice. And that's us, who are interested in spirituality or interested in religion. Because the moment we become interested in something, that there must be some other meaning to life than just to work and die. So once we become interested in religion, we tend to, uphold the precepts of the religion. In Christianity, it is 4 precepts, in Buddhism, it is 5 precepts. I put the 10 commandments into 4 precepts because they don't have alcohol and and drugs, as a precept in the Ten Commandments. But everything else is within the 4 precepts. So, and what did the Lord Buddha say about the 5 precepts? If we keep them, then we can come back as a human being. Or we can even go, if we have enough good karma, then we even can go to the Deva realm. But remember, once you're in the Deva realm, once you are a goddess, or just an angel or whatever, there's a limited amount of time that you spend there. Maybe it is 100,000 years, maybe it is 200,000 years, and then where do we go? Going back, falling back, the fallen angel. Most of us, then just go to hell, to get rid of their bad karma that they have done before. Just like Lungta Mahaboi, my venerable teaching master, said. He described, some of his lives, being up in this kind of heaven, and then going down to this kind of hell, and then going back up, to that kind of heaven, and then going back, to this kind of hell before he was reborn as a human being. Because within one life, he gathers so much karma that sends us to hell and sends us to heaven for such a long time, that we don't have, the chance of coming back as a human being. So, because of us, because every one of us, including the person who sits here, and gives the talk, we have done a lot of bad karma and we have done a lot of good karma. So, in order, to choose our way and not to run blindly, in the strongest stream of our karma, we need to develop this awareness, or to the sati, that in the moment of death, we can be aware and choose the path to go. It is important, in the case of pain, and notice, how. อยากฟังไหม
ไม่เป็นไรครับหลวงพ่อใช้ภาษาอังกฤษเลยนะ
In the case of death, it is the most painful, just like birth, it is very painful. In the moment of death, where the body, is ripped apart, and if you have gone through death, then the first thing, the breath stops, and once the breath stops, it starts to rip apart all the elements of the body that kept the body together, and that is the most painful moment. And if we have enough sati in this moment, we can decide where to go. So if we have trained enough, and that is the objective, if we have trained enough in our life, to keep sati, even when there is excruciating pain, then at the moment of death we don't need to be afraid of anything. Because we can choose. We know, pain is pain, but it is not us. The chitta doesn't. The chitta is not pain. It's a body that is, the body is painful, and the ripping apart of the body is very painful. But if we have sati, we can choose our path. We can choose, at the moment, because we can see then a little bit into the future. At the moment, it's a very good time to develop Dhamma. There are a lot of good teachers at the moment down in the world, so let's become a human being again. And then we can choose it. But or we see now it's a time of turmoil, let's better go to the heaven, rest there for a while and then come back to the human world. That is the choice that we have. But if you don't follow, if you are not aware of the choices that we have, we just go, the biggest karma. The biggest karma might lead us to heaven, but it might lead us to hell. We don't know yet. Because it's not only the karma from this life, it is also the karma that comes from the other lives. Like I explained, in some of the things. When we go on a trip, we put something in our suitcase, not all the things that we have in our house. We couldn't carry it. All the cats and the dogs and the books and the cloth. Yeah, we put only certain things. Then we go on the trip. When we come back from the trip, we have even more things. Yeah, then we put it back to the house. Yeah, and that is karma. Yeah. We go as a trip, we can call it, the human life as a trip. In the human life, we collect a lot of things. We collect a lot of good things, and we collect a lot of rubbish. So when we come back to our house, there's all these other things waiting for us, to get rid of or, to enjoy. Plus the things that we acquired, in this life. And this will determine our next destination. Unless we have opened the gate to the deathless. And opening the gate to the deathless, what is with my speech today? I can't formulate. Something is hindering me. Opening the gate to the deathless is, starts with Sotapanna stream entry, and then goes to Sakadagami once returner, and then goes to Anagami non-returner, and entering the deathless, is the Arahant. Yeah? So opening the gate to the deathless is, entering the stream to the deathless. And that is, that should be at least the minimum of our objective when we go the spiritual life. It should be this. Yeah? Or do you want to be born and die and born and die and born and die again and again and again without stopping? Yeah? Life must be so much fun. Yeah? According to some people, it seems to be, okay, let them enjoy, I have no problems with that. I have no qualms about that. If they think there is no dukkha in their life, fine, yeah. But we have seen the dukkha, yeah. We have seen the dukkha of growing up. We have seen the dukkha of going to school. We have seen the dukkha of learning to walk, learning to talk, yeah. We have seen the dukkha of it. Yeah? And if we come back as a human being, we have to go through the same kind of dukkha. Yeah? It is not satisfactory. And when we are young, when we are 8 or 9 years old, we can't wait to be 20. Yeah? We don't want to spend, between 8 and 9 years, to 20. We can't wait, until we become 20 or 18. Yeah? Something like that. Yeah? Most of you can remember that. Yeah? So, we're just waiting and trying, getting rid of school, and doing, so that we don't fail and so on. Yeah? So there's a lot of dukkha. There was a lot of dukkha, but we don't want to remember it. Now that we are 50 or 60 years old, when we try to remember our youth, we don't try to remember the youth when we were 5 or 6 or 7 years old, or 10 years old, or 14 years old. We remember only the nice times, about 20, when we are, fully grown up, and fully energetic. Yeah, that's the time when we remember. We don't want to remember going to school. We don't want to remember learning to walk or learning to talk. I don't think anybody wants to remember this. But just be prepared. Yeah. The next life you come back as a human being, you go through the same process. Yeah? And then you can use this body for 30 or 35 years, and then it starts slowly to fall apart, just like an old car. Yeah? We know when the car is new, you press on the accelerator and it accelerates. Yeah? When it is old, you press on the accelerator and nothing happens. Boop, boop. Yeah? That's with an old body, yeah? We try to run, and then just like a young person, we fall. Yeah? We don't even try to run, just walking, we often fall. Yeah? And because this body is becoming frailer and frailer and frailer, more frail and more frail. Yeah? And that's the nature of this body. In other realms, it does. We don't have a body in this kind of form. We have a fine material body. Yeah? The devas have a fine material body. They just appear and disappear. As a ghost, you just appear and disappear. The two realms, where we are born and where we have to train this material body is the animal realm and the human realm. And you see it with small puppies, yeah? How they train, how they first, cannot even walk, we see it, yeah? Be it cats, or be it dogs, we see it, yeah? Or we see it with our own children. When they first come out of the womb, they just lie flat on their back, and then start to move the fingers or start to move the hand and start to move the arms and the legs until they have programmed this body, until they have learned, how to use this body. And that's it, yeah? The body is a tool. It is not something, it is a nice tool, yeah? But it is, it is not long-lasting. It's not a long-lasting tool. We like this tool, yeah, and that's why we go from life after life after life. We want to have a new life, in the next life we want to be this or we want to do that, yeah, and that's it. That's our desire, keeps us running around, not realizing that this kind of life, is always the same. It's always the same. Getting up, doing something, yeah, eating something, doing something, eating something, and then going to sleep. Getting up, doing something, eating something, doing something, eating something, going to sleep. Every day, from the first day we are born to the last day that we die. How boring is that? But we never think about it in this way because we call this doing something, sometimes we call it work, sometimes we call it, fun, sometimes we call it leisure, sometimes we call it playing around, and so on. And that's why we never get to the point to see actually the frustration or the boredom of this kind of life. Getting up, doing something, eating something, doing something, eating something, and going to sleep. Then waking up again, doing something, eating something, doing. Just talking about this is. But we never think in this way, yeah. So that's why I repeat it and repeat it and repeat it, so that it slowly sinks into our heart. Yeah? No matter what we do, no matter if we are an artist, no matter if we are an engineer, no matter if we are a politician, it's the same thing. Every day, every person, even if it is the emperor of China, he has to get up, eat something and do something, eat something, do something and sleep. And he has the same kind of body, a frail body, that gets sick, that gets old. There's no person that doesn't get old, yeah? And sooner or later he will have to die. Yeah, that's human life. But the human life has one advantage, and the Lord Buddha pointed it out. In the human life, you can have, at least 50% of sukha, that means happy feelings or comfortable feelings, and 50% of dukkha. That is the most in the human life that we can get. So we can see both sukha and dukkha. If a person, and everybody of us knows people, who have so much dukkha, who can't think about anything else, how to get rid of their dukkha, so that they don't think about anything else. They need some money or they need some food, and all their life is turned around by this desire. They have so much dukkha, they can't even think about something else. And that's the same thing for people, who have everything what they needed. They don't look for the spiritual path. Yeah? Because everything is fine. Yeah? Whatever they wish, it comes true. Whatever they want, they become it. Yeah? And they have very little dukkha in their life. And if they have very little dukkha in their life, they don't want to find the way out. That is, for instance, for most of the devas, that is true. They have so much sukha, they have so much happiness in their life. Why should I look for a way out? Yeah? We only look out for a way, and that's why the Lord Buddha said, the human life is a jumping board. It is the jumping board where we can jump out, or where we can open the gate to the death life. So remember this very well, human life is precious, and if you don't use it, at least, to find the door, even if we can't open it in this life, to find the door, that leads us to the deathless, then it is a waste of our human birth. Understood that? Yeah? So at least try to find it out.
But this is find the door and open the door.
Yeah. Find the door is, being more and more interested in spirituality and being more and more interested in learning, that there is a door open, but we have not actually gone to the gate, to be able to open it. Yeah? And you notice it, being able to open it, you have to do Sila, Samadhi, Panya. Yeah? Sila, is keeping the 5 precepts. Samadhi is being the ability to put the mind to a halt, or put it into calm. And then Panya, the development of wisdom. Yeah? That is then opening the gate. Yeah? But first of all, we have to hear about, that there is a gate. Yeah? And that is for the people who being interested in Buddhism, they start, to be interested in Buddhism. It is not the first life, we hear about Buddhism. It's not the first life that we hear about, that there is a gate. It takes us hundreds of lives, to hear about Buddhism, to understand it and to slowly seep it in, until we actually, okay, now it's a time, to actually walk towards this gate, And then it takes, hundreds of lives, to walk towards this gate until we can open it, an arahant isn't born in one life, Or a Sotapanna isn't born in one life. How many lives he has trained, how many Buddhas he has seen, or maybe he has seen or not seen, what did the Lord Buddha, the Lord Buddha himself said, he met, about 24 Buddhas, in his lifetime until he became a Buddha, So, it takes a long, long time. So it is, at the moment, we are interested in Buddhism and we are actually, on the path, that opens a gate. And now it depends on us, how much effort we put into the practice, how fast we get to the gate. Some of us, enough, 4 hours is enough, okay, let's rest. Let's go to sleep. And tomorrow I do another 4 hours, okay, it's enough, And and the others, 18 hours until they really can't keep their concentration anymore, and they just sleep, the moment they wake up, again, and these are the people who run towards the gate. The ones who say, okay, I've done enough, I'm happy already, let's do it tomorrow, So these are the people, who walk like snails, And they get, of course, when you walk very slowly, you get distracted, you sometimes lose your direction, But people who walk fast, they normally don't lose their direction. They know exactly, I need to go in this way, and then they go, And they don't think about anything else, than going out. Understood? So it takes many lives, what did Luang Pu Man say? He had 90 eons, and 1 eon is one uncountable time period, 90 eons of training. And then he saw, in order to become a Buddha, it takes another 90 eons, and he said, no, it's too much dukkha. Let's finish it in this life, But because he had 90 eons already, he was already half a Buddha, or had spent half of his, Buddha developing times, then he can, But think about, to become an arahant, probably takes you 30 eons or 40 eons, of engagement, So, it's a long time. That's the same thing, people, in the West, they read about Buddha and his enlightened disciples, and, the Lord Buddha uttered one sentence, and they become enlightened, They never ask how many lives did they train before, just to be reminded of something that they haven't realized in their last life, and now they hear it very clearly, and then that's when the moment, of final realization takes place. But they have worked, for eons, in this training and, not training. Now, how is it? I mean, we know. Yeah? I mean, we work hard. In our daily life, we work hard, and then we want to have a weekend. Yeah, let's rest for a while. Or we want to have holidays. And then for 3 or 4 weeks, you rest for a life. So we become monks in one life, and then next life we say, no, that is too tough for me. Let's enjoy the next life. As a human being, just enjoy the pleasures of the human life. Yeah. And then after 3 or 4 human lives, where we try to enjoy the pleasure, we see actually there's not so much pleasure, let's become back as a monk, and then we become a monk again, and then we become a human lay person again. And how often did we do that before here? Yeah, we don't know. And it doesn't really matter, yeah? We just pick our goal, and run towards it as much as we can with all our strength, and hope that we become very close to the gate, or maybe even open the gate, so that in the next life we don't have to look for the gate anymore, we just run towards it. Did you cut my hair today?
So you have more security.
You have more security. But you cut my head in the morning now.
What?
Yeah.
That's unintentional.